On a scale of 1 to 10, how faithful would you say you are in terms of religion? You know, I go to church probably 3 times a year, so that speaks poorly of me. Or do you attend church regularly?
Well, Senator, I am reluctant to talk about my faith in this way just because I want to be mindful of the need for the public to have confidence in my ability to separate out my personal views.
It's really hard for me to find something that is probably less scriptural based, a question, than asking somebody, Gene, you're a Southern guy like me. You grew up in this church in the South like me. Yeah, asking somebody to grade their Christianity on a scale of 1 to 10.
There's so many things wrong with that.
That's somewhere in Deuteronomy or something like that. You know, the scale. I mean, it's
holy.
It would have been great if she had said, "I go to 11."
Yeah,
My Christianity goes to 11. Thank you, Senator.
This one goes to 11.
This is 11.
But it was interesting because that was the one time in which I don't know if you, but to me, she just stiffened. She said, I am not going to answer this ridiculous question. I mean, she just was not going to have.
So much of the training for nominees is this is the way you don't say anything, and she's been pretty masterful at that.
And Willie, the grievance signaling this week has been
you trademarked that.
Trademark, yeah. What was it? Republican grievance signaling. RGS, and this week it has been on full display. So you had, who was it, Feinstein 5 or 6 years ago, said the dogma lives within you for Amy Coney Barrett, which was just absolutely offensive, of course. But they remember that 5 or 6 years later, and he's making the judge yesterday ask what kind of Christian she is on a scale of 1 to 10 because of a terrible question that was asked 5 or 6 years ago. And then they bring up Brett Kavanaugh. And by the way, Meek and I said repeatedly that was an absolute disgrace. All the stories of the rape rooms and all the garbage that was churned up at the last second to try to derail that nomination. Okay, we get it. That's been adjudicated. But the judge didn't do that. And it's just like one grievance after another. And you did this to Robert Bork in 1988. And you did this to Abe Fortas. And why would you do this to Abe Fortas? And it's like, not her fight. Not her gig.
I guess they had nothing.
Ask her about the Constitution.
Well, that line of questioning, which was so grotesque from Lindsey Graham, was all about Amy Coney Barrett. That was the point he was trying to make, if you actually hung in there for those however long, 15 minutes or so, was that these were the kind of questions that were being asked of Amy Coney Barrett, now Justice Barrett. And so I thought Judge Jackson handled them well. She took a deep breath from time to time to absorb what she probably wanted to say and coolly say, this isn't about my faith. I don't apply my faith to these decisions. And she even cited Justice Barrett. She said, I agree with Justice Barrett, who said my faith will not impact the decisions that I make, so it's not appropriate for me to talk about that here, though she did signal her faith, ask questions about when life begins by Senator Cruz, for example, but it was a parade of questions about children's books being taught in schools where she sits on the board. Again, she calmly said the board does not select the curriculum for these schools and went in to explain why the Georgetown school, where she sits on the board, was such an important place in Washington, D.C. during the time of segregation. So she was calm, she was cool, and the way you know they don't have much on her is when they're asking questions that were asked of different nominees many years ago to make a point, and when they're leafing through the pages of children's books and asking her to comment about them.
And Lindsey, at the end, Gene, he did his best James Brown, said he hoped that terrorists died at Gitmo and then, left the stage, fell to the ground. The only thing that was missing was somebody trying to put a cape Godfather, come here, Godfather. Throws it off. And Lindsay goes, I hope they die in jail, those terrorists. And then he runs off of the stage. It was, I'm telling you, that's entertainment. Turn that up to 11, will ya?
I don't think Judge Jackson thought it was entertaining.
I think this is what our founding fathers wanted. Ask people what type of Christians they are on a scale of 1 to 10. Talk about children's books. Ask
so
if babies are racist. And that will get to their constitutional view of how this living document or dead document should be interpreted. What's the Atlantic smart take on what happened yesterday?
Smart take.
Oh, you want a smart take?
Yeah, so take a smart take.
And quippy, and with
I already gave you the 11 joke. I mean, how
that
many
was
more?
good.
Yeah, thank you very much. The Atlantic doesn't have one take, as you know. We're a Big Ten.
Oh my God! This is so boring. Willie, save me. I'm drowning in the boredom of Jeffrey Goldberg.
Well, no, we're the town square for the American idea. I would say. Oh my God! Boy, you don't like it?
Can I have a sick bag?
Gene, you're a subscriber. You're a subscriber, Gene. I have the list. You're a subscriber.
For all ideas, so welcome.
Yeah.
I look forward to reading about.
Not all ideas.
I look
10
forward to reading about the
10 step flaps.
Go
and
ahead.
there's an outside. No, my personal view is that it was a deeply superficial hearing, and I was really struck by the grasping quality of these questions.
No, graspy is good.
Graspy quality of it. I happen to know that school where she's on the board very well.
Yeah.
Some of my own personal children have attended that school.
Really? Were they malformed by the books they read in kindergarten?
Explains everything.
The place is not a VMI. I want to stipulate. It's not a VMI. But nor is it. The funniest part about this is that this is a reach of a reach of a reach. The board doesn't choose the books in the curriculum. The librarians pick the books that are in the library. It doesn't make the line of questioning didn't make any sense.
You were about to say it's not VMI, but it's not Dalton. I can tell you, my daughter for a couple of years went to Dalton, and I can assure you that Dalton's not even Dalton.
Okay.
I'm saying compared to like all of this, it's just everybody setting their hair on fire.
I got it.
And jumping out of their hair.
School ranking
segment.
Number one.
On the wokeness level, though, all of these attacks, though, on these schools and for being overly woke, it's just like the Florida bill. Don't say gay, and we're supposed to all get, It was for like kindergarten
to third grade.
To third graders. I've had 87 kids. Is it or 4? It feels the same, and I've never had anybody talk about that to my kindergartners.
Good tweak to Democrats.
No, it's just tweaking Democrats, and they took the bait.
Ed Luce, Jeffrey Goldberg, Eugene Robinson. Thank you all very much. Thanks for the quick takes from the Atlantic.
Yes.
They're
smart hot takes.
Yeah.
Please keep it
still
turned
ahead
up to 11. 2
U.S. senators, Rob Portman and Richard Blumenthal, join us on the heels of a trip to Poland's border with Ukraine. And a reminder, the 2022 Forbes 50 over 50 nominations are open for submissions now. There is time to highlight women over 50 as the theme for Women's History Month, providing healing, promoting hope. It's a tribute to the work of female caregivers and frontline workers during this ongoing pandemic and global unrest.
Can I do a 50 over 50 for men? Because I'd like to nominate Jeffrey Goldberg.
Yes. So submit a nomination for a woman well over 50 who is achieving her greatest impact and paying it forward. Go to Forbes.com or KnowYourValue.com and nominate these deserving women. We'll be right back.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.